So here I am, some 7 or 8 months later, sitting in basically the same spot again, enjoying a nice cup of coffee. It's about 6 in the morning. We just spent our first night back. Yeah, back in the jungle. Feels good. House is in pretty good shape. Stuff is growing. The only kind of big issue is that ants were everywhere in the kitchen. But yeah, all in all, everything's looking good. Kind of taking my first survey of the property and kind of getting some ideas of what needs to get done. We do have an issue with our internet, so hopefully we'll get that sorted out. But power's working, well's pumping water, stove's working. All in all, it's a working house. I'm reclaiming it from the ants. So I've got a lot to do. My mission is to kind of act as a bit of a handyman slash gardener. I don't have a whole lot of experience in either thing, so I'm really just going to start with the easiest stuff and kind of work my way up. I'll be watching a lot of YouTube videos along the way and just kind of learning how to do things as I go along. With that said, let's do a little walk around of the property and I'll just kind of talk about the things I've got in mind. This is our front yard area. And you can see there, that's one of our many durian trees. That's our best one. This one is looking super healthy and I'm hoping this will fruit within a year or two. Behind it, we've got a compost pile and then we've got this flat area. This is the front stoop that I was just sitting on and I plan to make a deck here. The first thing I'll have to do is level out the ground and then find a new home for this solemn tree. Is this a solemn tree? No, it's something else. This is the solemn tree. This is, you can use the leaves for flavoring rice. Here we've got just kind of dirt stairs dug out into the ground, but I want to pour concrete and make these into concrete stairs. So here's an embankment that kind of comes down from the front stoop. I'm going to make a retaining wall with some stones that we have in the driveway that are left over from our rock wall. It's going to be technically pretty easy to do, and it's just going to be more effort than anything. Here's looking at the front yard from the other angle. Ara wants to make this into a garden, so that's what we're going to do. Before I even start on the rock wall, I've got some more kind of just maintenance gardening kind of stuff that I'm going to do first, and I might start with these bananas. So bananas really grow like weeds around here. You really have to dig them out. You have to dig them out at the root or they'll just keep going. So here's looking at the stoop from the left-hand side, and here's our rock wall coming up the driveway. I'm going to put some stairs here too. I may use that stone because I can just kind of continue from the existing stone there, or I might use concrete or just some flat stones or something. So here's our front driveway coming in from the road, and as you can see, it's just kind of this rough concrete. The land is kind of terraced here, so we've got one level up and it just leads up into the house. And again, from the same spot, just looking down the property. Here's looking at the backyard, and here's looking at the house from the backyard. Here's another angle of the backyard. And this guy right here, this is my birthday present from a couple of years ago. And this is a Bodhi tree. So it's the same kind of tree that the Buddha sat under before he got enlightened. And we have some nice little pavers leading out of the house towards the tree. So yeah, this is going to be my little meditation sitting area. Right now it doesn't have much cover because this thing was all bucked up when we planted it, but it's growing pretty good. Here's another planter, which I kind of massacred yesterday. Here's the gardening area that we hastily set up last time we were here. And here in this little area, we've got a couple Japanese papayas, which don't fruit or don't fruit anything edible. We've got these two planters. I built this one by myself, and then we had some of the neighbors come in and help us out and build this one over here. Here is another one of our durian trees. Just before leaving last time, I planted a bunch of seeds. I had some coffee and some lemons and limes and some papaya. It looks like the only thing that grew was the papaya, but we got a few of them growing. I'll be moving those around the property here and there. These aren't long-lived, but they grow fast. I don't remember what these trees are called, but we planted them just before leaving too, to kind of start a living fence. Beyond this sort of living fence area, this is going to be part of the public area, and we're planning to dig out a pool here, and eventually we might have a jacuzzi or a sauna. And our guy just planted a rambutan there. I'm not sure if we're going to leave that there. This is our scooter parking area. We did this last time we were here too. It wasn't really a relaxing vacation. Here is the pile of stones that's going to make up the retaining wall. Just off to the left of the scooter parking area, we've got this old gazebo. And this thing was here when we got the property. It was kind of the main part of the makeshift structure that the builders for our house constructed for themselves. As you can see, it's got a water tank there, and that was originally to facilitate the watering system for the durians. Just left to that structure, we've got this piece of land here with nothing really on it. Eventually we're going to put a shrine here, I think just next to the mango tree. Here's the driveway from the opposite view, and you can see that stone wall leading down. Here's the house from the same vantage. Looking towards the row, we've got these terraced bits here. We've got a durian tree there. We've got another durian tree down there. And we've got all of these kind of bushels of citronella or lemongrass or pseudo lemongrass or something. This is quite a big chunk of property just in this corner here. And I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it. In my dream of dreams, this is going to be a cafe at some point. Here's looking down the property from the same vantage point. I'm just standing on the other side of this scooter parking area now, looking at that same plot of land. This is where we're going to put our rental villas. I've walked a little further down the property line, and we're looking at the end of the property where all of those banana trees are. That's basically the end of the property. And just beyond that, where the grass is cut nice and short, and you might be able to see a couple cows lounging on the grass, that is the neighbor's property. Here's from the same vantage point, looking back at the house. And looking across, and if I pan the camera, I can see back to our garden area with the planters. Here's again the end of the property and just that terraced bit. So as you can see, we just had a guy come chop away all of the grass and all of the vines. This whole area has been just taken over by vines. We pulled up so much of this in the housing area. The grass we planted has kind of reclaimed that soil, but here this is creeping Charlie land, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to pull it out all by hand. There's no way around it. You can't just cut it because the roots go deep. Here's looking back at the property from the same vantage point. This is the path that the workers and the trucks and the construction vehicles will be coming down once we get those villas underway. At some point, I do want to finish the driveway with brick pavers. That's another thing that's not super difficult to do. That's more just kind of effort than anything. Unfortunately, if I start on that now, it's gonna look pretty worse for wear after those villas are built. That's the penny tour, and that'll be it for this time. Thanks for watching.